So welcome everyone to our free community called Bonus and a sneak peek to Stairway to Six. Today is November 19th, and we're going to be going over the three types of yeses. They all sound the same, but can mean a little different things. So I'm Christy, I'm a life coach and business strategist, and I'll be helping out with the tech today. And just a few housekeeping, Zoom will let me unmute you if you gave it permission, but if you had any reason that you want to unmute yourself, it's going to be at the left bottom corner of your screen. And so if you have any questions or comments, go ahead. If you need any help, you can also wave your hands. I will try to help you with that too. You can also chat us at any point. Either you can chat everybody or you can chat me privately if you're having any problems. And we also have some fun emojis. We have the little clapping and little thumbs up, and those are fun to use. But with all that said, I'm going to pass it over to Gretchen.
Thank you so much, Christy. So hello, everybody. Happy almost end of November. Like, what is even happening that the time is going so fast? I'm so glad that you can make the bonus community call. And for those of you who are going to listen and watch this on the replay, happy that you are listening, and happy November to you too. So as Christy said, tonight's going to be a sneak peek of our Stairway to Six and what we are going to do in that, and some of the teachings that I'm going to teach and bring to you during that program. What we're going to go over tonight is a little bit of client enrollment, because that entire program is based on client enrollment and how to really serve you in making it easier to help your clients, you know, to get them to the yes point instead of the, I'll think about it, you know. And so in coaching, we have all heard yes from a client. And then sometimes we wonder, well, why didn't the client actually sign up? They said yes, they sounded like they were a yes, but then that didn't actually happen. So this is going to be interactive tonight. I would love to answer your questions and kind of hear from you as well. So all of you on this call, Heba, Kanika, Michael, Jeanette, tell me, for you, have you ever had a client say yes only to then not sign up?
I haven't.
Not so far, Kanika, not yet?
Not so far, but I haven't done a lot of outreach or anything. And most of it has been through referrals.
Okay, so far you're doing pretty well then in that department. Anybody else?
So I haven't had a confirmed yes. I've had the I'll think about it, or that sounds great, I'd really like to consider that and get back to you. That tends to be maybe after the money conversation.
Yes.
Or the it's just not the right time for me.
Yeah, it's not the right time for me. I'll think about it. Jeanette, what about you?
I haven't had anyone to just after they, say they wanted to just not, sign on. But I have had someone to go through and say, oh yeah, I really love you. I really would love to work with you. Sent the contract. No, didn't hear from her at all. So
yeah, crickets, right? And it happens. And so thank you, Jeanette. Here's the deal with it, is that it can be really confusing, right? That we think you're all the way at this point where you've talked about money, you've sent the contract, and then nothing. And as coaches, one of the things that can do too is it can hurt our self-esteem. We start to feel like, what did I do wrong? Or why is this person ghosting me? And so I'm going to go over those three different types of yeses tonight, or the I'll think about it and what that really means, so that you can have a better way of understanding it. And I see Michael and the client in the chat box, client's wife wants to sign up, husband hasn't signed up yet, and that happens a lot too, where it's like this person really wants it, but they have to talk to their spouse. So tonight we'll just go through some of these things. Christy dropped in the chat box a PDF that you can fill out as we go along, if that's helpful to you, about these three different yeses. So, Michael, why don't you unmute then? Tell me your story.
Hi.
Hi.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
So I got a referral recently from a friend who said, oh my God, my husband, he's like an investment banker and started his own firm and et cetera, and he really could use coaching. So I did this sort of like, well, why do you think he could use it? So she gives me this whole story. we have an hour-long conversation, and then she sends me an email, or we talked about it. I said, you know what? I would love to gift your husband an hour, to experience what kind of possibilities it would be to change his, sort of perspective on being successful. He's, stuck in all these different kinds of things. So she emailed me back after I said, thank you, it was great talking to you, and would love to, again, gift your husband an hour or more, whatever, of coaching. So she sends back just like, this would be perfect. I'm sending it on to him. But it's sort of like this ping pong back and forth. And I haven't had a chance to, enroll the actual client. Yeah. Mommy's doing the work for him, right? Because a little bit. And it's fine. It's just a different kind of dance a little bit.
Yeah, so, well, it completely is, especially if we don't know if the person that you intend to coach really even wants it. So
exactly.
Yeah. Okay, good. So we'll get into all of those things tonight. So when there are these three different yes, it all sort of sounds the same. Yes, yes, yes. But it means different things. And the first type of yes is a counterfeit yes. And I'm going to go over what that means. Second type is a confirmation. Third type is a commitment. Okay, so we've got the counterfeit yes, confirmation yes, and commitment yes. But they all just sound like yes. Yes, I'd love to get started. Yes, send me the contract. Yes, this sounds great. But they mean very, very different things. So a counterfeit yes is fake. It's yes when they really mean no. But they don't like confrontation, and they want to get you off their back. On the call or on Zoom, it's easier to say, yeah, that sounds good. I'd love that. Send me over the contract, because it's easier than saying, no, thank you. And for a lot of people, they're confrontation adverse. And even though it's not a confrontation when somebody wants to decline, their internal system goes on alert, and they're nervous. They're nervous. So that first type of like, yeah, sounds good, it doesn't mean anything. It means no is what it means. So Jeanette, now that you've heard that, is that the kind of yes you got from that client?
I'm still trying to process that when you said that, because I took it more as we really connected.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if it was the money involved, because it was some financial things she wanted to work on also. So I'm thinking it may have been some of that, but it probably, now that I think about it, now that you're saying that, Gretchen, it probably was a counterfeit yes. And I tell you why, because she had so many things on the list. It was like, as I say in my language, it was a buttload of things that she had, she wanted to do. Yeah. So yeah, now that you say that, yep.
Yeah. And it's just going to take a little bit of fine tuning with your listening to know what they really mean. So when a client says yes like that, yeah, send the contract, I'm going to teach you how to check the yes, because that's really important when it comes to coaching and getting a firm agreement. The second type of yes is the confirmation yes. And that's where it's like, yeah, they do want coaching. It's harmless. It all sounds good, but it doesn't really mean that they're going to take any action on it. So it can be the kind of thing that it's like, it sounds great. I just need to talk to my wife. So they've left a back door that really means no. I just need to talk to my wife. I just need to figure out how to get the money. I just need to go eat an apple and never return your call again. And it really just means no, but they still don't want to say no, and they are thinking about it. But here's the thing that happens. The shelf life of enthusiasm is pretty short. Here's the enthusiasm. You're on the phone, or you're looking at me on Zoom. We're good. You're enthusiastic. It's yes. And then you hang up the phone, and I've already lost you because the enthusiasm's gone. You forgot to talk to your wife, or you didn't really want to bring up money, or she had a bad day, or whatever it is, and life keeps going. Now, it doesn't mean that that particular person won't come back later, especially if you've had a really good conversation. But what it does mean is they're just simply not ready. So that's the confirmation yes. And it still sounds like the other kind of yes that you're like, wait, I'm really confused. They said yes. And then you find yourself doing behavior where you are emailing them like, hey, just checking in on you, wanted to see if you wanted to have another talk, or hey, sent you the contract, waiting for payment so we can get scheduled, and nothing, nothing. So when we check the yes, we're going to check their commitment level and we're going to check their motivation level, which leads us to the third kind of yes. This is the one that you want. It's the confirmation yes. It's the committed yes. It's the yes. What are the next steps? Here's how you'll know it's different. When clients say yes in this way, they're asking you, when can we get started? Can you send the contract? How do I make payment? When do we get scheduled? So that's one of the ways that you can right away tell the difference in, is this person serious about working together? I'll pause there for a minute. Tell me what's coming up for you as you hear this.
I have an interesting question that comes up with that. I had a client that very recently that was very committed, incredibly excited, did exactly that, send the contract, I'm ready to get started, signed it, paid. And halfway through, I got a note basically saying, this is a really bad time in my life. I can't devote what I need to really honor the coaching commitment. Can we do a timeout? She wasn't asking for money back. It wasn't about, and she was incredibly kind and very complimentary to what coaching had done. And it was very ironic. It occurred after a breakthrough session.
How interesting. So when you check in with yourself, what do you think happened?
I felt that she saw something that she wasn't prepared to see.
Yes, that's right. She got scared. She got scared about the work. So that's a whole different ballgame. I'll answer it though. But
is that not a yes, or is that still a yes, or was that really should have been in another category?
So here's the deal. She was a yes. She paid you. She signed the contract. What needed to happen next was before you started with that breakthrough discovery session, whatever it is that you want to call it, you need to have some agreements to have still more of a yes. And the agreements are verbal agreements, and they include things like there's no starting and stopping with coaching. Sometimes all the time, coaching's going to bring up things that feel difficult. You may find yourself confronted by what it is that you're learning about yourself. What it means is that you're in the middle of a breakthrough. Can you agree that there's no starting and stopping? And then they're telling you, yes, they agree. Can you agree that, yes, sometimes this might get uncomfortable and that you are committed to doing it anyway? So having good verbal agreements is also a great way of checking the yes. And actually in 2 weeks, that's going to be the thing that I teach about. We're going to talk about the agreements versus expectations. So that's a great question. It did sound like she was a yes. She took all of the right steps. For us as coaches, we need to hold the space and to let them know in this container, sometimes things get messy. Sometimes you're going to be uncomfortable, but you're in good hands. And can we commit that there's no starting and stopping? And here's why. When we start and stop, we're not building the momentum that we need. Yeah. Does that help?
Yes.
Good. Oh, okay. So with the committed yes, the confirmation yes, the yes, I'm in, and they're asking all of the questions. How do we work together? How do I send you money? All of those things. I want you to do what I call check the yes. And what this means when you check the yes, because we all love it when we have an excited client, they're saying yes. You would think it's enough when they're asking you, how do I send the money? How do we work together? But it's not, because we still need to make sure that they're really in it. And so what I typically say, and what I would encourage you to say, is, I'm so glad that you're asking these questions. Let's slow this down for a minute. Coaching's going to cost you more than a financial investment. It's going to cost you your time and a piece of yourself, because you're going to be different if we coach together. And before you make this commitment, I want to make sure that now is really the right time in your life to do it. And then be quiet. Let them tell you why yes now is the right time in their life to do it. They're going to tell you all sorts of things that, you know, I've been working on this for years. I've wanted this for years. If I don't change this, then this will happen. So they are selling you and themselves all the reasons that it really is yes. The next thing that you want to make sure that you know of too is that, you know, are they willing to go full at this 100%? You know, we're checking, are they ready? Are they committed? And can they do this 100% given everything else on their plate? So you want to have a very honest conversation. Now, a lot of times coaches get scared because it's like, well, what if I talk them out of it? What if they decide they don't want to pay me after all? What if they say it's not a good time? It's better to know now, because what you're teaching them is that this is serious, life-changing work. It's not just something like, oh, you're going to feel good every time we talk. Right? Coaching goes deep. We're helping people move the needle in their life. We're helping them to go another level or 12 deeper. And so we need to make sure that if it's a true yes, they are clearing the path so that they can be ready, committed, and available for what's going to come up, and that they're willing to do what it takes in the coaching relationship to make their time and their financial investment valuable. So let me pause there for a minute. What's coming up for you? Questions or comments here?
Well, you can go. I was going to read her.
Oh, go ahead, read it. I didn't even see it.
So Kanika says she wishes she would have those conversations for a true yes. If you want to unmute yourself and continue and expand on that, go ahead.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense because, you know, I found myself in situations where they said, yes, they paid the money, we're doing the sessions, but they're not reliable and they're not doing their part. And it takes the joy out of us wanting to serve, I think. And it also takes, I'm just thinking, I wish I would have been braver to have that hard conversation so that it's worthwhile for both sides.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And you hit on something there, Kanika, that it is about the bravery. It takes courage from you as a coach to check the yes, because when someone says, yes, we just want to sign that contract and, you know, get the money through the door because we're so afraid of building our clientele and our client list. But when we can actually really check the yes and make sure that the person is committed, that they are ready, that they realize this is not just about money. This isn't just a financial investment. This is an investment of your time. It's a commitment to yourself, and it means that you're going to change. And if it's not a yes for them, then you've planted a seed. They will come back to you at a different time. You know, I've had clients that are like, well, what do you mean? What are you going to have me do? It's like, I'm not sure. I don't know what we're going to do yet. It's all going to be about this thing that you're telling me that you want. So it's good to have that conversation up front. Jeanette, what about you?
Let's see what I have here. I think it's interesting when you said it's just not about the money, because I think a lot of times where I'm thinking, because I was thinking with this lady that it was about the money, but it could have been because she had a daughter that was disabled that she had to take care of. So it could have been about time. Yeah. I really didn't touch on that, but that's something, you know, that I could have said, you know, added in the conversation, you know, about the time, if now is the right time for her to do the life coaching.
Yeah, good. You know, when we're bold and we get to the true yes, we're serving our client better. And our whole job as coaches is to serve and bring clarity. So we cannot be afraid to have the coaching conversation about money, about if you're ready, about any of it, because if we're afraid, then we're really not going to be bold when we're their coach either.
Right.
Yeah, good. So here's the other thing I want to tell you is that no, as much as yes doesn't always mean yes, no does not always mean no. So here's some things that no can mean. No might mean, I'm curious and the coach has not answered all of my questions, but I don't really know how to ask them. No might mean that they feel uncomfortable. No might mean that they're not even quite sure of what coaching is. And when we're saying things like coaching helps people bridge the gap from where they are to where they want to go, they don't know what that means. They're like, what? I have to build a bridge? What's happening? No might mean that they need an experience with you, an actual coaching experience rather than just an enrollment call. But here's what no usually means. It usually means if Gretchen knew, if Christy knew, if Jeanette knew, if any of you knew who I really am and my habits, my behaviors, and my thinking pattern, would you still want me to be your client? No usually means that they're afraid and that they are scared, and that they don't know if they're up for the challenge. No usually means that they think that they might fail at this thing called coaching, that you as a professional look so impressive at, that you've talked about, you've explained, you've demonstrated, and they don't know if they're up for it. So I want you, as much as I want you to check their yes, I want you to check their no. Okay. And so if a client says, I need to think about that, or yeah, I'd say yes, except the money, go and check the no, that, okay, that's good. I want you to think about it because I wouldn't want you to do this unless you're 100% sure that you're ready. And why don't I gift you with an experience? I'd love to give you an hour of coaching because today we were just getting to know each other to make sure that what you even need as a coach, that we like each other and that this would be a good fit. But I wouldn't want you to purchase anything or for us to get in an agreement together until you've experienced coaching. So that's one way to do it. And then you give them a coaching experience. Clients need to be able to relax into it, to understand what it really is. When coaches come out at that, oh, it's $1,500 and it's this many sessions and you'll spend this many hours with me, clients turn off, potential clients turn off. But when you take it back to the thing that they really want, the thing that they tell you, their deep why, their deep fear, and you speak to that that's what you're going to work on together. I hear you saying that what you really want is freedom in your life, freedom from your negative thoughts, freedom from your bank account, freedom from, this idea that you're chained to your job. I can hear that. And I'm wondering, would a professional coaching conversation where I actually coach you on that be helpful for you to experience it? So check their no. A lot of the times when a client says no, if you offer up that experience and you find out what no really means, you can get to yes. So knowing their no is actually one of the stairs in my stairway to 6 of getting to yes. Okay, what questions do you have about that? Or comments?
I would just say I need to go like deeper probably while I'm doing my free consultation, just to go a little deeper, definitely.
Yeah. Jeanette, that's really important. I'm glad that you said that. When coaches breeze over the consultations and then expect that someone's going to give them money, it rarely works that way. You have to really know what they came for. What's the thing that's important to them? Not just the thing that they wrote back to you on the email, but maybe the secret thing that they're afraid of.
Yeah, I don't think I went deep enough now that we talked about all of the things she wanted to do, but I didn't get as far as, just offering some more advice. I think I needed to get a little bit deeper and, what life coaching really is and how it can help her situation.
Well, what I'd even say to that is not to talk about what life coaching is, but instead to give her the experience. Because there's one thing to say it. It's like saying, when you drive this car, it's going to feel like this when you go 70 on the freeway. And then it's another thing to actually drive the car and go 70 on the freeway.
So Gretchen, would you, say if I do a 45-minute free consultation, would you turn around and also offer, say, another 45 minutes or something for them to experience the life coaching?
Yeah, great question. So typically with the enrollment call, that's where you're going over, what do you want in the next 3 to 6 months? And you're finding out what is the thing that they want, and make sure you find out what it's going to mean to them. You know, what will it mean to you to have that? What's been hard about getting it? And a year from now, if you don't have that and nothing's changed, how are you going to feel? So you're getting all of the emotions and you're getting a lot of good information. Then from there, after you guys have talked a little bit more and you're sure that it's a good fit, they're asking questions about coaching and you're at that point. Yes, I would offer not just 45 minutes, I'd offer an hour. An hour is very generous and people are blown away that you are willing to give an hour of your time.
Okay.
You offer an hour and you say, you know, Jeanette, that thing that you just talked about that you want this, this, and this, and you'd really feel this way if you had it, let's coach on that. I'd love to gift you with an hour session where we're coaching, because today we were just getting to know each other. I want you to feel what this experience is actually like.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, try it and let me know how it goes. But I will tell you, most of the time, that helps the potential client experience your generosity and dedication to your field, and also to have some benefit of what coaching really is, instead of just like coaching does this, coaching does that. You know, it's really different, because then they know it. At the end of that, you're going to know if you have a client or not. You know, they really will be asking the questions about how do we work together.
Right. Okay, good.
Yeah.
I have a free consultation tomorrow morning, so.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So practice this then tomorrow. Will you let me know how it goes?
I sure will.
Oh, I'm excited for you. Good.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. And Jeanette, slow it down during the enrollment. Don't speed through. Spend a lot of time on what they want, and not just what they want, but what it would mean.
Okay.
Good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else have questions?
Hey, Gretchen.
Yeah, Mike.
Wait, can you see me? Kind of in a dark space. Hold on. Wait. Yeah, so I'm just curious, like the whole backtracking for a minute on the conversation around, you know, enrolling them around the fear of what they don't have, you know, like where you were talking about how, you know, I'm hearing all this stuff about I can't remember exactly what the points were, but, you know, a few minutes ago, you were talking about people who want something and what it would mean to them. At what point is it sort of, not that you're strategizing when to like inject it, but where, like at the beginning or sort of in the middle of a conversation, where are the best places to sort of bring up where their pain points are?
They're going to tell
all through.
It's all the way through. I mean, they're telling you their pain points. You don't know their
Right.
pain points. They're going to tell you, you know, hey, I really want this, but it's been hard because I procrastinate. I really want that, but it's hard because I have imposter syndrome. You know, they tell you, and then you'll know it's time to offer them that free experience with you, the gifted experience, because you're going to get to the part where they're asking questions about coaching or where you see a need. And then you'd say, you know, Gretchen, I'm really hearing that you could use some help getting your book done, and that you have a block around that. I'd be happy to gift you with an hour professional conversation where we could take a look at that block deeper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the second part, which I mean, I've gone over with you several times, but it is a reoccurring in some instances with certain people on a target list, which is when you're not really sure what the call is about, you know, say a contact that you know or whatever, and that could be the person that you're coaching and enrolling, or it could be a lead into a list of people that person, you know, like in my case, there's someone that I'm going to be talking to tomorrow that could be a target, but I have a feeling that his list will be the actual target list, and I want to.
Perfect.
You know.
So what you want to find out with him is what would really help him. Where is he struggling right now? What does he need? And then you ask, would you support with that?
Yep.
And that's a key question. And when it comes to coaching and enrollment, would you like support with that? Would you like some help with that? And when you get that, yes, that's when you can offer up, you know, the coaching session.
Yeah, I think that you just hit on a key point, which is would you like some support with that? Would you like some help with that? Because now you're actually offering something as opposed to, here's what I do. And, let me give you before you even gift them, you have to figure out, do they even, is the first part a yes?
Yeah, exactly. Do they want the support? Is that something that would be helpful? Yeah. So you've got it. That's exactly right.
Yeah. Just needed the clarification sometimes more than once.
We all do. The first time's information, second and third time are transformation. That's just the way it goes with learning.
Yeah.
Yep. Good.
Okay. Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay, everyone. So I'd love to hear from you what you learned tonight. What did you get from this?
I'll go.
Be bold. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that was it. Thank you for saying that. I was going to say that. There was a part that resonated with me about the boldness of asking deeper questions after the yes. And it isn't about the money. It's more about, are they willing? Are they committing to the time and the work?
Yeah.
Because it is very frustrating as a coach to feel like you're pushing instead of the pull that's there, the interest. And there's very little resonance between coach and client if the client is not coming with the intention of the work.
That's exactly right. Yeah. Good.
But we stop after they say, send the contract, I'll sign it. How do I pay?
That's right. Because we think that yes, that they say, oh, that sounds pretty good. And we don't realize that it's a counterfeit. They don't mean it. They're saying it because they want to get off the phone. They don't want to say something else.
No, or even when they're paying, I think that you just mentioned that there's almost like 3 levels of commitment. There's the commitment to show up with them, to pay, the commitment for the time, which is great, but then the commitment to do the work.
Yep, that's right. That's right. You're welcome. And that part, the commitment to do the work, is equally as important as the commitment to pay. Good. Jeanette, what about you?
Just learning that I think sometimes as a life coach, you're coming to them like you want a client, but then like you said, what will it mean to you for you to have this, whatever it is, whatever this is to them, but what will it mean to them? Just kind of, getting that out of them. What is this going to mean to you? So
that's really
okay. And is that okay to gift them with an hour?
Yes. And finding out what it will mean to them is one of the most important parts of that enrollment call. If you don't know, then how are you really going to coach them?
Right.
Yeah. Good. Michael. Unmute.
There you go. I'm going to coattail what Jeanette just said about it is so crucial to really find out what it would mean to somebody, because 2 things. First, like you said, you can't really go anywhere if you don't have that framework set up. But then the second thing that always just resonates for me when you say something like that, what would that mean to you, is it's really such a powerful acknowledgement that somebody's really side by side with them. Because most people will say, God, no one's really asked me what things mean to me. And it's every time I've even come close to using that, whether it's that direct question or a offshoot of it, people are blown away. Yep. And it just opens them up to like, wow, someone could actually really hear me.
And care, really care.
Yeah, really care, right.
And maybe they can actually help.
Second thing was, for me, what I took away is the no not really meaning necessarily no. There's so many layers, and I knew that, but hearing it again created another sort of like, yeah, that's right. Yeah. When you're in it, it's hard for me, like I won't react, but I think, oh crap, okay, I get it. I'll walk away as opposed to maybe digging deeper to see if there's maybe a yes.
That's exactly right. No is a starting point.
Right.
No is actually great. Once you know what the no is about, you can get to the yes.
And that's like what I did in the past. My sales and promotion job was, when I'd say to my boss, oh, like they said no, great, okay, you're just getting started. I'm like, but it's true.
Same thing applies here. That's exactly it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, Michael. And Kanika, did you want to say something?
Well, just coattailing on everyone, but being bold, and you can always go deeper, even when you already hear yes, there's always another layer.
Mm-hmm. That's right. So it was so nice to be with all of you tonight. To those of you who have already joined the Stairway to Six program, I'm so happy that you're going to be in it. And to those of you who are interested, you know, the program starts on January 9th. It has a full kickoff day. And then we're going to have 6 months of 2 modules each of learning, where we're going to build you your stairway to six-figure income. Each month, there's going to be a book club as well. You get 2 mentor coaching sessions with me where I will coach you. There's buddy coaching built into the program, and also accountability. So it's really robust. And then we close out in June with another full day. And I have Steve Chandler coming as well. He's going to be one of our guest speakers. So if you're interested and you want to talk about your particular business needs and your goals, and to see if this program's a good fit, you can email me and we can get on the phone together, because I want to make sure that before you sign up that it's a 100% yes for you. All right, everybody. Any questions before we say goodnight? Okay, so good to see all of you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And you guys have a lovely Thanksgiving.
You too.
You too.
Gretchen.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Take care,
All right.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.